What is going on, you dead set legends, and welcome to the Ready Bang, the number one arm wrestling show in the business. I'm your host, the Aussie Arm Wrestler, and I have hassled, and I have harassed, and I have poked my friend. I have messaged and called and done everything. And I said, Don, probably me personally, but a lot of arm wrestling people want to know what is going on with you. Ladies and gentlemen, he was the former owner. He was the co-founder. You correct me when I'm wrong. But anyway, he is the man that is at Coresports. It is the one and only Don Idress. Don, I finally got you. What's going on, buddy?
Sorry, Jake. Sorry. I didn't actually mean to be ducking you for months and months and months, but, I just didn't want to.
No, hey, look, they say things happen for a reason. There clearly we weren't supposed to do anything, but it all seems to be kicking off now. Are you familiar with what's going on in the arm wrestling world at the moment?
Honestly, I hadn't been following much of it for the last few months, except until yesterday or day before or whatever it was. Kind of hard not to when you're getting bombarded with screenshots and messages. Oh, look what's going on. I'm like, oh God, I don't want to be involved in this. Yeah, but look at the shit. Look at what do you think happened? What do you think? I'm like, ugh. So kind of impossible to get away from between that and almost nuclear war that's going on. It's been a busy 48 hours.
It has been
It's two types
a
of nuclear war.
terrific
Exactly.
48 hours.
Exactly.
Now, everyone that's watching, I'm going to bombard Don with questions. But first and foremost, Don is my friend and he has the right to deny. So I'm going to barrage some questions at him. If he gives me some no comments, we can't get upset. We're hoping this is a 2 or 3 part series. So if there are any questions you want answered, drop them in the comments. I will write them down. And then when I finally pester Don again for another show, we will get in there. First of all, Don, I want to know, where have you been, buddy? Where have you been?
I've been here, man. I've been here working away, dipping my passions into a couple of new projects. Some I can talk about, some I can't really talk about. But it's been a very relaxing few months.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of tough in the beginning because I'm not used to not doing a show every 6 weeks. You know,
Yep.
it's like I've always thought to myself, "Oh, I want to work until this age, and then I'm going to retire." I can't retire. It's not going to work. I had a month off of not doing so January, and I was like bored. What am I like? Give me something to
Wow.
do. And then started because people call me all the time to do their shows as a showrunner. Can you please handle our production, small, medium, large shows? And it just so happened that there was a couple of really, really big shows that just kept me busy here in
Yeah.
Dubai and over in Europe. And just time just flew by, man. I've just been, relaxing, working away, training. Um, it's amazing how when you have a little bit of free time and you're able to kind of restructure your life in a certain way, you end up like, oh, I used to love doing this and now I'm doing it again. For some reason, I picked up horse riding again after 30 years, and that's pretty much all I do now. That's all
Oh,
I do.
no, Don.
What?
No, no, no.
What?
There's been
What?
people out there that have posted, there's been like these arm wrestling people that have posted stupid photos of them on a horse with dumb quotes like they're a warrior and the king of everything. I do
No.
not want to
Mm.
see a photo of you on a horse.
You'll never see a photo. You'll see some videos, but no, there's no photo with an accompanying motivational quote. I just happen to love horses,
The
right?
wolf and the garbage. I do realise I didn't get the memo, mate, but we've almost got matching shirts on.
Oh yeah. Oh well.
Look at that.
Jesus. There, you can buy this. You can actually buy this design. There's an Instagram page called Enemy of the Sport. You can buy it off of it.
There you
Yeah,
go.
It's not bad, huh?
cheeky plug there if you want to buy that one. Yeah, before we get into the last
No,
48
no, 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 no,
hours.
no. Let's take a couple of steps back. What's with you? What are you? Why are you shitting on my horse racing?
Oh no, because I've seen
I'm kidding. I'm
like
kidding. I'm
I've
kidding.
seen high end arm wrestlers. They post on YouTube as like, oh, when the wolf waits in the winter, I'm on a horse, and they fucking think they're Putin. And
Arm wrestlers,
yeah,
really? I've never
yeah,
seen an arm wrestler on a horse.
I've used them for caption games and everything. It's
Really?
yeah.
Huh.
I'll send you the pics afterwards. One of them's
I thought you
Engen.
were
I'll give
making
you
fun
that
of me
one.
that
One of them was
I
Engen on a horse. The other was Dennis
I thought you were
Saplenko.
making fun of me like I've become some kind of Instagram chick with motivational quotes on a horse. It's like
No,
arm wrestlers on a
no,
horse?
we play a caption game on the show, and like Engen's been on a
Ah,
horse, and Dennis Plenkoff has been on a horse, and it just does not look right. So,
I look pretty cool
but
on a horse, if I do say so myself. So
yeah,
don't
so
be a
getting
hater.
into it, getting into it. No, I love horses. Daryl Braithwaite saying good song. There's so much to unpack. We probably won't get it all done today, but
Mm,
let's go back to December. This is
okay.
my understanding where you made one of the toughest decisions of your life. I don't know if it happened in December, but
Mm.
my understanding is that's when a transaction was made and you decided that king of the table. Please, this one I'm going to open the floor to you. And can you just let everyone know why you sold king of the table?
Look, I'm. It wasn't King of the Table towards the last year of its existence wasn't really doing very well for a number of reasons. We weren't getting good matches. We weren't getting enough of the pay-per-view numbers. Sponsors were falling through left, right, and center. So it just got to a point where it was actually acquiring more debt than anything. And most of the debt was to the athletes. I'm not gonna deny that. So an
Yeah.
opportunity presented itself where a certain group of corporates said, okay, we'll take this off of you because we did have double contracts between us. All the athletes were tied down to contracts, dual party contracts,
So
tripartite contracts.
under Coresports with two banners. Is that right?
No, so the
No,
athlete contract was signed by me as the head of Core Sports, part one. Remember, King of the Table was never a company. It was just a brand and
no,
an event.
no. It was a
Okay.
brand. Yeah, it was under Coresports. Yeah,
Yeah. And then East versus West was the other signature, right? So you kind of couldn't take one without the other. But I saw an opportunity where, you know what, I'm not going to get anything out of this, but at least the debt that is owed, that would be cleared. And at least I walk away from this, you know, with,
yeah,
as little headache as possible. The athletes get paid. Any other supplier who's owed money gets paid. And that was the deal. And that was basically what was agreed to. There was a couple of other things agreed to. We were supposed to continue doing the streaming. We were supposed to continue doing the production, but we found out very quickly after the transaction that there was never any intention to do that. So I'm like, I'm not gonna argue over spilt milk. Let it be. So, but it wasn't easy. I didn't want to do it. Maybe, if I'm honest, maybe if I would have kept going, everybody would have gotten paid eventually. I'm not above admitting that maybe I panicked and sold too early. I
yeah,
wasn't really in the best state of mind. I mean, look, I debt is a new thing for me. I've never owed people money, right? So I don't think I handled it very well, and I just wanted to end that horrendous feeling of this weight on your shoulder as soon as possible. And the opportunity, the way it presented itself, seemed like a win-win sort of a thing. I'm like, all right, you know what? it's it's an event. I'm very proud of the fact that we created it from zero. I'm very
yeah,
proud of the fact that Core Sports like at that time, what Larry Wheels was part of the original team. We had the balls to create something to resuscitate it from the dead. There was no arm
Yeah.
wrestling during COVID. You know it, and I know it. And we
No.
were the absolute fucking first. May 28th, and we started selling that shit in February, March
Yeah.
2021, way before any other promoter. We were the first. We executed it. We did the second one in December. By the time we did the third one, that's when we had partnered up with East versus West. And then after that, 2022, 2023, you know how that went. But yes, so there was a little bit of an emotional attachment to it. But like, come on, man. I mean, we're all adults here. And at the end of the day, it is a business. If a business is not generating you profits or not giving you any ancillary benefits, like opening up other doors, or the path to profitability and success is sustainable, or this is an opportunity here that looked on the surface to be amazing. I'm like, you know what? Let's just sell it. And maybe I made a mistake. Maybe I didn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
But by the sound of things, and actually, this is one of the main reasons I agreed to jump on today, because in the chitter chatter on the Reddits and the YouTubes, apparently there's some information that is quite inaccurate that's being floated out there. So I want to nip that shit in the bud right now. The deal we made with said corporation clearly stated that we were going to get paid a sum of money as Coresports, which was minuscule, and the debt to the athletes that was declared 3 months before the transaction took place. All buyer parties were aware of it. If the debt wasn't going to be covered, why the fuck would I sell the event? Why the fuck would I sell the brand if I'm getting nothing out of it? So, yes, they were fully aware. They were actually, the full transparency, the full disclosure went beyond. Like, I even told them about certain core sports debts. I even told them about debts that were not to the athletes. Yeah. That I said, okay, the little tiny money that you're going to give us as part of the sale, I'm going to use that to pay off other debt. And it was sheets and sheets of paper where there was. Anyway, let's just not get into the details. Um, so yeah, maybe I'm not supposed to say all this, but I mean, if they're going to come out and publicly say uh, intricate details of the contract, which are inaccurate, I feel the need to. So I'm sorry, I've been kept in touch with all the athletes, and my stance has been the same from day one. I want to pay them as soon as possible, but if I'm not going to get paid, I can't pay them. Right? I don't even
Okay.
mind if they get paid directly, right? Which has happened on a couple of occasions. And let's just end this right there, okay? Because I don't want to get into the whole um,
Madness. Madness.
yeah,
That's
madness.
going on.
I don't want to necessarily
Eh,
enter into a mud wrestling match, but to reiterate, yes, they were aware of the debt. The entire purpose of selling King of the Table was that the declared debt was going to be taken care of, some now, some in the future. And until that happens, now, yesterday in the live, a gentleman was saying that the last four events didn't make any money. But at the same time, he said, well, one of them made money, but we reinvested it. I'm not in control of what profit is. I
yeah.
I don't know. So at the end of the day, maybe we're never going to see a dime. Who knows? But if that
Okay.
happens, then I'm going to figure out a way to make everything right with the athletes. But I didn't screw the athletes over, and I don't owe them anything. Okay, it's just the contract and the agreement isn't working out the way we wanted it to at the moment. So I guess we'll just have to see what happens.
So would I be right in saying that at the moment, because there's been a couple of posts coming out that people weren't being paid, and some were saying as late as last September, and I worked at that event as well last September. So
I
during
think I still
around
owe you.
that,
I think I still owe you money also.
well, that's the time for another
Yeah,
story. But
I'm open book here. I'm not denying anything. Yes, I'm aware of all these things. King of the Table 12, which we called a disaster event, was, I mean, don't even get me started. That was everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. And yeah, there were bills at an athlete money as late as King of the Table 12. September, right after September, is when I decided I have to sell this and take this advantage of this opportunity. I'll never be able to cover these debts. So,
So then
are you
black and
talking
white,
about?
it was just it was no. I'm just trying to get a clear understanding that say late September, you went right. It's time to sell. If you are going to buy this, you have to inherit this debt as well. You have to clear this debt.
No, 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 no.
Okay.
There's no inheritance of that. Let me be clear about that. Okay.
Okay.
We were asked to disclose the financial situation. I disclosed it in full, and the total number for the sale that was agreed included and was actually on paper divided up in such a way that every penny was going to be accounted for. This went here. This is going to pay the athletes. As a matter of fact, the first chunk of payment we did receive, I every transaction I had to present a receipt that it went to. It took care of part of the athletes, part of the
Yeah.
debt, not all of it. So it came. It wasn't like here's money, go retire. It came with terms and conditions that I can't get into, but yeah, it was for the money was for clearing the debt.
Yeah. So then you mentioned earlier the fall of King of the Table. Now it's up to you.
Mhm,
Saying it wasn't doing well. The matches weren't great at King of the
mhm.
Table.
Yeah,
My understanding was someone else was more heavily influenced or more taking charge of the matchmaking. Do you feel your event was being sabotaged to make other events better?
no comment.
Okay. So then, okay. That's right. I said at the start. Um, take that as you will, everyone. I'm sure the arm wrestling world will read into it. Okay. Will you come back to arm wrestling?
I don't know. Well, at the moment, I'm bound by a very strict non-compete. Again, it was something that perhaps I shouldn't have signed, but anyway, what's done is done. I got to stick to it, legally and otherwise. So at the moment, I'm bound by non-compete. So not in the near future. Down the line, I don't know. That's probably the most honest answer I can give you. I don't know yet.
Okay. That's
Is it
all
worth it? Is it not worth it? It's like there's a lot of things I have to take into account because if last night was any indication of how things are going, I don't know. Part of me wants to say, maybe this should be revived again correctly. We've done it before. We can do it again. Just resuscitate arm wrestling. Or, man, I don't want to deal with the drama. So I'm kind of torn between the two.
I
But
know.
I
But
can't. Legally, I cannot at the moment.
okay. So they're going back to King of the Table 12, the disaster one. I was there. It wasn't great. But
Thanks for being so nice.
were you there? There was a main event that could have shocked the world. Were you blocked in making that to appease someone else? And
Look,
instead, we got Devon and Leonidas.
Devon and Leonidas was always the plan.
Okay. And
All right.
then
There was,
it was. Yeah, actually, yes, it was. It
yeah.
was.
That's
But
what
then,
was marketed. That was the plan. An opportunity presented itself where potentially a better match could have been the main event. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't say blocked it, but there was a lot of fighting over it,
there
and
was.
there was a lot of fighting over it online and otherwise. And I was trying to run a disaster show, so um, I guess it was kind of decided that it's not the best idea.
Okay.
It,
From a business partner.
the fans wanted it a lot.
I wanted it. I
And
was there selfishly.
no,
I
I know,
wanted that
I
match.
know,
I
I
was
know.
there.
Look, the fans wanted it. It seemed like the internet wanted it. Usually, if so, here's the thing, right? When you're, and I can say this,
Yep.
and let me be clear, I'm not here to smear stains on anyone, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to get roped into saying anything bad about anyone. However, when you enter a partnership with someone, right? You no longer have, or ethically, you no longer have the power to make unilateral decisions and do whatever the fuck you want. It was, and yeah, it was a little bit of a tough time for me because I wasn't used to having to co-make decisions with somebody. Yes, I ask the team. I rely on the team always because like I have my limitations. I don't understand social media and all that. I have people for that. Operationally, I don't understand everything. I have people for that. So getting feedback is one thing, but there was a time when we were literally only listening to the fan feedback and giving the fans what they want. Now, when you enter into a complicated business partnership that seemed to be working for quite some time, you can't really go off and do whatever the hell you want. You have to take your business partners into consideration. Everything becomes a vote. And if the vote came no, then it was no.
I
What?
laugh because because your business partner did whatever he wanted to, and he and he reamed you. Now we're not here to smear.
No
You were
comment.
giving, yeah, we're giving a platform, Don. I like you. Let's clear up a couple of things because we'll make this a part one, settle the
Mm.
seed and everything like this. So you cleared up something that was said on a stream. Have you read the posts about the athletes still being owed money?
I think maybe one or two. I just confirmed that though. No, which
Yeah, Kalinichenko.
yeah. Well, that's actually the only one that I actually
Yeah,
saw, and he's not. Look, he's not wrong. It is an absolute fact that he was owed for King of the Table 12.
yeah. That was the only
Uh,
one in your timeline. Others have said like the last king of the table in Istanbul, but
yeah, but
that's
I don't
all.
know I don't know anything about that, nor is it my business. But for I can speak for King of the Table 12, and I know that Kalinchenko and I had a conversation, and even though I knew that we were waiting for the money from the new buyer to be able to pay off their loans, I still tried to borrow money personally and pay him because he was stuck in a bit of a situation. I don't mind saying that, but I tried to
Yeah,
help personally rather than say, "Oh, well." I always try to help personally, but sometimes if your hands are tied, your hands are tied. You know, you can imagine you're put in a situation where you can't, you don't have anything to do with that entity anymore. You don't have the production, you don't have the streaming, you're not really getting paid. Okay. And so, I mean, you can only do so much. But if I ever had the opportunity to try and help personally, I always did. And I will continue to do so.
yeah,
Um, Kalinchenko, I'm pretty sure some of it was paid off because I know I personally borrowed it from somebody. Uh, but after that, anything after that, I have no idea.
okay.
I know King of the Table 13 when we were running it to a
Yes,
degree.
the December show. Yep.
I don't think
Eddie Hall,
anybody.
Eddie and
Yeah,
Brian,
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody. No, everybody got paid quickly. So
There you go. Okay. Well,
why?
before
Why
we
is there more people saying that people aren't getting paid after the fact, or I
no,
honestly
well,
don't know.
mate, it's all gone nuts. I believe Kalinchenko mentioned September, and I think that was the only one. I think others mentioned throughout the year. I'd have to double check those posts. But
Hmm.
right, because this is like a part one, and we can go into more other things. Some quick fire things, because I'm always a happy bloke, Don. So I want to
Oh
end on a
God.
happy note. I want to on a happy note. Just give me one or two. Now we can do it other times. Some of your
What do you
best
want to know?
memories. Some of your
What do
best
you?
memories about King of the Table.
Some of the best memories. Um, let me see if I can work backwards. Some of the best memories was actually the days before the press conference when the athlete was just parading them into the venue and taking all the video and the photo content, and my head getting bitten off by by Hannah. They're not here on time. And it's just that whole atmosphere of the athletes hanging out and everybody making the funny videos and the photography and whatnot. I always loved, probably because I wasn't, that was the day when I wasn't working very hard, right?
Yeah.
While the media team was stressing, but that was actually my favorite. Like, I loved that. I used to love that. Because that's when everybody was relaxed, and that's when everybody was, I mean, you know how we did things in Dubai. It was being driven
Yeah.
around, chauffeured around, eating
I had a
this,
lot of
eating
fun.
that. Yeah, I mean, we always tried to, historically, ever since strongman, we always try to, why not get the VIP treatment? I mean, we never skimp on that. We never skimp on the hotels. Or, I mean, we try to make sure everybody had a good time. Um, Eddie and Brian working backwards. That was, I was very, very happy with that one. That was, I don't think I've
Yeah,
laughed
man,
that
you
hard.
did very well to get both of them at the event.
Well, they're friends. They've been friends for a while. So, I mean, we've been working with each other since 2018,
Of course,
2017.
with the
Actually.
Eddie Thor boxing match.
No, way before that, man. World's Ultimate Strongman that we started in 2018.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I met Eddie. I've been working with Eddie since 2017. Brian, I met 2018. Did like 3 or 4 shows together. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good
There you
times.
go. One of
Pre-COVID,
my,
post-COVID.
I'll only share one little one because we're going to do more of these ones and we've been going on for a bit. Is
Mm.
you got my voice on ESPN. And for me, that was amazing that you got arm wrestling back on ESPN. And someone sent me a clip and I was just like, holy shit. As a huge sports fan, I was like, some bitch, I was commenting on ESPN. That was
Oh,
cool.
is this that half-hour documentary we produced, right?
Yeah.
Arm Wrestling
Yeah.
Reborn. That's
Yeah.
the one. Yeah, that was a fun memory. The early days were full of a lot of fun memories when it was small number of matches. Devin was in his coming back out of the dead prime. Devin Michael Todd, that was hilarious. Pulling Devin out of arm wrestling and putting him in a boxing ring was also one of my favorite moments.
That's right.
I
Yeah, you
know,
got
I know, I know, but it was fun. It was fun. Um, yeah, it was fun. Like up until 2022, it was a good time. Then it became tough, became difficult, it became serious. By 2023, things started going downhill, and 2024 kind of sealed the end of an era.
yeah.
But
I do have to ask a personal. I know I was going to end on a high, but I do have to ask one personal question.
yeah,
Um, we work together, and I'm always grateful for that. Were
however,
you? Yes. However, it's one of those
Mhm.
interviews. Were
Mhm.
you ever pressured, suggested, maybe given a nod by people close to you to get rid of me?
No, no.
Okay.
The correct answer is no. Some people may have expressed their dislike for you, and some people may have said, "We can't believe you're letting him work with you. He's not the right guy." Blah 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 blah. But that's about it.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Nobody blatantly ever told me you need to get rid of him because, come on, at the end of the day, it wasn't my show, right?
Yeah.
you know. So, and especially when it comes to the client-facing part, the customer-facing part. Yes, I know we didn't really control the matchmaking for a long time, but the client-facing part, what's written in the show, all the additional segments, how the show is presented, nobody could really, tell us what to do there, or even have a say in it. That I think that's what we're good at. We're
Yeah.
good at presenting something good for the viewers. And like, look, man, I see complaints about the streams all the time since day one. The one thing that I know that Coresports can take pride in is we always knew, or we always had the ability to put out a fire a lot quicker than anybody I've ever met. And I've worked with massive broadcast teams. Okay.
Yeah.
The whole motto was, you as a customer, as a viewer, you only see it when literally there was nothing else that could be done, when it was completely out of hand. Right. So, and I honestly think I'm still proud of that. I'm still proud of that because the shit that went on behind the scenes and the fires that had to be put out and the power outages and the weather and this and that. Streaming is not as simple as people think it is, right? But when people watched the stream and it only had a couple of audio glitches, that's what they saw. Back there,
Yeah.
shit was on fire. You
Fun
know?
fact, literally was. I remember in
Oh
between the
shit,
press
man.
conference.
Oh fuck
At
yeah,
the
yeah.
at that press conference, we had to stop the press conference because shit
Oh
was
god.
actually on fire. But we will share that story for another time if we can, guys. It's going to be part one. Part two will be longer down the line. There's obviously some other things we need to take care of, but if we can, two things. One, if there's any questions you want Don to answer in future shows with the Aussie Arm Wrestler, drop them in the comments. And second of all, just thank the guy. Just say thanks for coming on. Thanks for having a chat, and thanks for kicking the table. Don, any final words before we end it?
Just I miss you guys. I'm just saying this to the fans. I miss you guys.
I
You're
know you don't
arm
miss
wrestling.
me. So
Oh, come on, come on. I do miss you. My ears don't no longer have that high frequency fucking eardrum explosion from time to time that I was used to and loved and loathed every 3 months. No, seriously, I do miss it. I do miss it. So we'll see. We'll see.
we'll
Hopefully
see.
one day this will all be behind us.
All righty, guys. We
Thank
will
you.
see you for part two with the Aussie and Don.